know what's ironic about people? They mess up over and over. And instead of owning their mess, they drag you through the dirt to feel clean. They lie without blinking, twist your truth into poison, just because they couldn't handle the mirror you held up. Scared little rats pretending to be wolves, pointing fingers, calling you the problem while they drown in their own chaos. But here's the real truth. They didn't hate you. They hated what you exposed. You were the mirror, and what they saw in you was everything they refused to face in themselves. Kindness, they twisted it. Loyalty, they crushed it. Honesty, called it deceit. You gave love, they used it as leverage. And after they drained you, used you, broke you, they celebrated like they won. While you stood there bleeding, but you didn't break. You didn't beg. You didn't scream. You stayed calm. You let silence do what shouting never could. Because they weren't ready for that. They expected rage, an explosion, proof that they still had control over you. But instead, you watched. You let them dance in their illusion of victory, blind to the fact that they had already lost. Because the day the realization hits, and it always hits, it'll be too late. That's the real punishment. Not revenge, not bitterness, just your absence, your silence. One day, when the people they tried so hard to impress are gone, when the noise fades and they're left with their own echo, they'll remember you. They'll remember the strength you carried without a word, the love you gave without conditions, the loyalty that didn't ask for applause, and they'll choke on the regret. Let them think your silence is weakness. Let them believe your calm is surrender. They don't know that silence is a sword, one that cuts deeper than rage ever could. They're not moving on. They're running away from the guilt, from the truth, from the fact that they destroyed something real. And when that guilt finally catches up, it won't knock softly. It'll slam into them like a freight train. Every fake smile they accept, every shallow relationship they chase, none of it will compare to what they lost. Because people like you, they don't come around twice. You weren't replaceable. You were just taken for granted. So let them talk. Let them mock. Let them build castles on lies and ego. Castles built on lies always crumble. And when they do, the very people they chose over you, they'll expose them. Just like you could have, but didn't. Because you never needed to seek revenge. Life handles that for you. Quietly. Precisely. And when it hits them, they'll look back. They'll look back and see you. Unshaken. Untouched. Calm. They'll realize they burned a bridge they can't rebuild. And when they come crawling back, and they will, don't gloat. Don't hate. Just look them in the eye and let them see the truth. You never needed them. You were there out of love, not desperation. And that shatters them more than any revenge ever could. They thought they broke you. They didn't. They revealed you. They thought you'd fall apart. But you leveled up. They thought they'd silenced your voice. But your silence echoed louder than any scream. They thought they'd weakened you. But staying calm, that's not weakness, that's power. Because calm people, they're the most dangerous, not because they lash out, but because they outgrow, outlast, outlive. They thought they won when you walked away quietly, but they don't realize it's the quiet ones who leave the loudest voids. They never saw the silent wounds. They never noticed how your voice cracked when you said, "I'm fine." To them, you were strong. You always stayed, even when you were the one hurting. But let me ask you this. Where were they when you cried yourself to sleep? Where were they when the weight was too heavy and all you needed was for someone to say, I got you. Nowhere. Silent. Absent. Until they needed something again. You gave everything. Your time, your love, your loyalty. You were the safe place, the constant, the anchor. But the second you needed a hand, they vanished. They made you feel like needing love was a crime, like your heart was too much, like your presence was optional. But now they miss you. Now they wish they treated you better. Now they remember the version of you who kept bleeding just to keep them warm. But that version, you buried them. You grew out of your wounds. Pain doesn't always scream, it whispers. It whispers in the way you stop answering texts, in the way your laugh becomes quieter, in the way you guard your heart, not out of hate, but wisdom. Let them say you changed. You did. You stopped allowing your heart to be a doormat. You stopped being available to people who were never really there. That's not bitterness, that's survival. And now, you give in measures, not floods. You love with boundaries, not blind trust. You show up for yourself, before anyone else. They thought your patience was infinite. They mistook your grace for permission. But you've learned, not everyone deserves the key to your peace. Healing is ugly. It's lonely. It's quiet. It's choosing peace over people who bring storms. It's grieving the version of yourself that tolerated too much. And it's okay to miss them. But don't mistake missing them for needing them. Don't reopen doors God closed for your protection. Let them miss you. Let them sit in the silence they created. Let them feel the absence they thought wouldn't matter. And don't let their regret become your reason to return. You owe no one your peace. You owe no one an explanation for choosing yourself. They never expected you to leave. Because every time they messed up, you forgave. Every time they disappeared, you waited. Every time they hurt you, you stayed. But now, you've stopped bleeding for people who never brought you bandages. You've stopped breaking yourself to keep others whole. And that's not cruel. That's clarity. Because your value isn't tied to how much pain you can endure. It's in your peace, your truth, your refusal to settle. You were the real one. You showed up. You stood through fire. You loved deeply when it wasn't convenient. And now that you're gone, they feel it. Not because they changed, but because you finally did. That's the power of walking away with grace. You don't slam doors. You don't scream. You don't beg. You just leave. And let absence do what presence never could. Let them sit with their guilt. Let them remember your kindness when all they feel is emptiness. Because some people won't understand your worth until you're gone. Until they scroll through old messages and realize they lost someone irreplaceable. So stay calm. Let their guilt haunt them. Let your silence echo louder than your love ever did. And most of all, keep moving. Because your peace was never a gift for them to destroy. It was always yours to protect. Oh yeah, if this message hit home, subscribe for more raw truth and dark motivation. Your peace is power. Protect it.